I'm just smoking my pipe here, I just love smoking my pipe. Now I don't get all kind of ideas now. Look. Wait a minute. This is what I'm smoking, right? So, I'm smoking the good old tobacco. Not that there's anything wrong with the other stuff, but you know. Anyway, I was smoking my pipe and I was just thinking about how does how does a biker, you know, why I consider myself a biker because I've been biking all my life, and basically my first set of transportation was a motorcycle, and I guess you're right. I mean, the story was always that, guys with motorcycles, it's just that they were bums or they didn't have much money, and, they were workers, migrants, and stuff like that. So basically, as us guys, we sort of like grew up with the idea people look at guys on motorcycles and they're just like, they're the poor guys. They're the guys that live on the other side of the tracks. Well, that's the kind of biker I guess I was. I was always born. I was always born. I was always riding by myself, basically, and I had a few friends, but nothing to mention about because you don't go to school, and you own a motorcycle, and and people has this different attitude about you. So you grow up with when you grow up trying to be friends with everybody because people are scared of you all the time, and you're trying to be that much nicer to let people know, hey, listen, I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice guy. So you spend your whole life trying to be nice to everybody to let people feel that you're a nice guy. So after people do say, well, oh, bikers are nice guys, they're nice guys, bikers are nice guys. So basically, once you got to know a biker, you realize he's a nice guy. But most people, and they got some bad apples. There's some guys that get carried away and stuff. But then, you first when you got your bike, it's of course, like in my case, it was just a small bike, and the girls would come over and say, hey, can you ride your bike? Can I ride your bike? Of course, I was only like 14, 15 years old, so. I was not really into girls that much. Like we had our little clubhouse up in the tree, and guys were still jerking off, and sort of like we didn't really. The girls, I would say, no, my bike is not really designed for two people, But as you grew older, the bikes got bigger. We got a little bigger bike, and a bigger bike, the girl would. Of course, then you're a little older, you're 17, 18, and you're getting dressed up nice, and you go to the dance, and you park your bike so that nobody will run over it, because cars, they just like to back over your bike. So I used to get pretty good at parking my bike somewheres where you just can't hit it with your car. If you hit it, well, I'd park probably behind a electrical panel or something, or I'd park it behind a post, or I'd park it in such a way that if you hit it with the car, you'd probably damage your car, more than anything else. So this was a tip for parking. And then you always park your bike forward so that you could get going. And the best way too is would be to park forward a little bit on a downhill thing. So when you get on your bike, you press the clutch and you go, and you just drop the clutch, and she starts and she's gone. Sometimes, you had to get used to get away from the scene quickly, A lot of times it's jealous boyfriends because, the girls kind of are attracted to bikers, or guys on motorcycles. So mind you, I did have a car, but never got too lucky in a car because, a car is like a big bench, You're looking at the girl next to you, and, you hold her hands a little bit, and she moves her hand away, and then, you're driving, and you slowly touch her, and then she moves your hands away, and you're constantly, like, sort of distracted with your driving and stuff. But on a motorcycle, it's totally different. Like, I mean, you don't have to ask her to touch you, or you don't have to touch her. She will touch you, and she will hang on to you. So she sits in the back there, and she's hanging on, and you go. And you go slowly to start with, and then she holds on. And the faster you go, the harder she holds on. So, I mean, it's a lot more pleasant than having a girl sitting on next to you on a big bench. And even if you didn't score, I mean, but you score a lot because it made it kind of horny, like, and there's no, you go and you park, and I mean, there's, it's not like a car. You could go and, you could still sit on the bike, but you sort of get off the bike and then sort of mingle, and it's sort of, it gives you a lot more opportunities than you would in a car. So I think guys were scoring a lot more on a motorcycle than they would with a car. But again, we were the poor guys, and the guys with a lot of money, they had the cars, and they had the nice looking girls. Of course, sometimes they get upset, but they got a big piece of machinery with them, and you're just on a motorcycle. So they remember you when you're on the road there. So you got to sort of you sort of got to remember who owns what car. So when you ride down the road and you see a certain car, you probably don't want to meet him head on, because he might get a sort of a quickie on you. So you might have to be really fast. If it's on pavement, you're going to be a lot faster to maneuver than the car will. But on gravel road, car definitely has an advantage over you, because they could, on pavement, it's pretty hard to outmaneuver a motorcycle on pavement, but on gravel, head on, they're dead. He's gonna go, and you're gonna try to avoid him. You're gonna slide right underneath the freaking car. So you're pretty well dead meat. But on the pavement, head on. But you don't want to have head on. Head on is basically the worst confrontation with a jealous boyfriend is a head on. And rear, well, that's another one too, because you could be driving and all of a sudden you see a car coming in pretty quick to you, is closing in quick. You either get off the road, you should get off the road, or come to a stop, or get away, because something's happening. Just maybe accelerate to try to get away, and whenever car used to come behind you really quick, so basically that's my upbringing of motorcycles. And then like as you go up, then the motorcycle gets bigger, and of course the girl that you take with you, sometimes you want to take their luggage, like for instance me, like after a while she hitchhiking was not good enough for her. Like she wanted me to bring her everywhere. Like she wanted me to bring her to work and pick her after work and bring all her clothes with me, and sometimes I'd be sitting out there waiting for her, and then she'd come out, and like it's like, holy Jesus, you know what I mean? And it's like, so sometimes you wonder with yourself, and then you start talking and say, well, honey, I think we should start thinking about getting a station wagon. And say, well, what's a station wagon for? Well, what do I want a station wagon for? Well, we could sleep in the station wagon, we could go on longer trips, and we could haul stuff. And so I was thinking, well, how much is one? I could get a station wagon. I don't think it's going to be a problem. So there we go, get a station wagon. And then the first thing you know, we're driving the station wagons all over the place. Not even riding the bike no more. She was drinking here, and then she wanted to learn how to drive, so she started to drive the station wagon. And of course, I started showing her how to drive the station wagon and stuff. And then the first thing one day I go in the shed there, and I notice a big dent on my motorcycle. I said, what the shit happened to that? And I was looking, holy fuck. It's at the bottom of the garage, and what the hell happened? And I start realizing it's the station wagon marks on it. And I'm thinking, holy damn, I'm the one that drives that thing, I'm sure. Holy shit, I backed over my bike. And I'm thinking, holy shit, the station wagon ran over the bike. I'm thinking, well, what, this garage was not really designed for a station wagon. I really had built it for a motorcycle. And then I'm thinking, well, there's going to have to be a decision to be made. Is it the station wagon or the motorcycle? And now that's the defined decision that really changed my whole life after that. Is that decision I made to choose the station wagon over my motorcycle. Well, that changed everything in a biker's life. So you became a domestic biker, a biker that got domesticated. So whenever you hear about a domesticated biker, well, he's the guy that chose the station wagon over the bike. And you're looking at a guy that got domesticated. That was way back in 19